we've really seen, like you just said, the 8 out of 9 games that Ancient Apparition has been winning. There's a reason why teams are picking it up, and they're first phasing it as well. So I was kind of a bit surprised that they didn't ban it here. We get the combo of the Ancient Apparition Wraith King, something that's really starting to cement itself as a combo right now through the Loopet Pro series, but it is answered by Makoto's Templar Assassin.
Very strong, of course. At all stages of the game, he's going to be able to farm a lot more. I mean, that's the thing.
Remaining.
There's only so much farm on the map, though, right? You know a Bristleback or a TA is going to be taking these ancient
remaining.
stacks. It might force FBZ to go into, some real aggressive movements on the maps, try and take away the Radiant jungle, just because TA is going to be, snaring a lot of that for himself. And it means, well, what is Dreamer Cell going to pick? Because there's only so much on the map that you can get. So maybe something that's going to be a little bit more aggressive, considering TA can be that win condition for your team.
Yeah, you're going to need the kind of space maker, playmaker. The Bristleback can provide that, right? Like, you just kind of drag everyone to your area. But are we looking for... Because this could be pretty flexible, right? Like, you can give FBZ the Bristle if you want. You can even give Dreamer Cell the Bristle too.
Yeah, I agree. They're going to need something... It's going to be good against, it's a couple of strength heroes, right? So you need something, if you can have something percentage-based, it's nice, but boom, they actually ban out the lifesteal themselves, which would have been a decent pickup for them.
5
You
seconds.
see the CK
remaining.
removed. That was something that Mizu's been playing a lot. Obviously, he's not playing this game, but with pretty high effect. Good at most stages of the game. I think they just need a little bit more crowd control, right? Like, you've got the Centaur. The
Radiant
Stampede's going to be
team
really
back.
effective against, well, honestly, 2 of the heroes so far. You're not going to care about the side traps. Mortimer's Kisses, sorry, not Mortimer's Kisses, the Fire Snap Cookie is probably not going to be fast enough to be able to get onto someone if the Stampede is used. And even, hell, Nyx Assassin. It's not a point stun, so...
10 seconds remaining.
I'm trying to think of what stuns you can really
seconds
get
remaining.
from a position 1, though. There's really not much available.
Hmm.
You don't like I thought Monkey King. I mean, I really don't value the hero as much, but the matchup versus the Centaur, but you don't really have any control for the Wukongs, which is always a bit rough to play into. And you can burst down the Monkey King this game with ease. Like, that's another hero that really relies on actually being able to BKB, get those Jinku sacks, and just turn a fight around.
Better
Dire
Bloodseeker.
team pick.
I feel like that might not be too bad. It's a bit more active of a core. Dreamer Cell likes to play it. FBZ likes to play it. So you've got that flexibility for the last pick of the overall draft. If they pop the Stampede and you rupture them, they're kind of screwed anyway. Gives you a little bit more of that crowd control with the use of the silence. And I mean,
10
Bristleback
seconds
TA,
remaining.
they're pretty strong in the
I
lane.
like it,
So
yeah.
you're going to have a lot of low
5
HP
seconds
targets.
remaining.
That thirst is going to start to build up nice and early, and you're going to have a good laning stage yourself.
Yeah, I like it a lot, actually. And I feel like that Blood Rage is even going to heavily enable like a TA or Bristleback in the fights. Just those little things where you can buff them up a little bit. Extra attack speed's always nice. Can't really see the Spell Amp helping out too much, mainly for the Snapfire, but that would be a great pick. Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm trying to see what else, like going through all the list. What about South Belt, though? I guess it is depending. You see you see the TA matchup already here for Bob, and he's got that 24th pick as well. They did ban out a lot of heroes that are going to lane well versus the Templar Assassin. The Viper, Razor, Ember's gone.
Batrider. No, they got rid of it first.
Ooh.
That Stalker, it's active. It gives you a little bit of CC. Again, you could just run away from it, though, if you've got a Centaur. It's not too often that you're going to have the Crippling Fear on top of a Centaur Warrunner. His main job is going to be to get onto that Lion or the AA. So they should still have some
10
form of a
seconds
save.
remaining.
This is a really difficult pick. Oh, they're going to go straight into it. Conquer.
Admiral Conquer.
Choose your hero.
Torrent is a lot of small instances of damage, so you can get rid of the refraction nicely with that. I don't mind it at all.
Eek.
But yeah, like you were saying before, they got rid of the Viper, they got rid of the Ember Spirit, they got rid of the Batrider, and I think one other hero that would have been good for the mid lane. I forget what it was, though. So Conquer, he's just fine.
And he can also have a pretty versatile build as well here for the Conquer. So it is going to give you a nice way. If you need a Spirit Vessel to deal with the Bristleback, kind of go into that. That's always something I value for the Conquer, just any versatility you have. But I definitely felt like they needed someone who was not going to play the backline, like something like a Storm Spirit or a really squishy hero that can get caught out pretty easy from the Night Stalker. Because you take a look at Boom's lineup, they're going to have a lot of vision. The Night Stalker, the Nyx Assassin hunting, the Templar Assassin traps. So if you're playing something like a Storm, a Void, I know Ember was banned out as well, but any of those heroes that are very squishy and can get jumped easy and need vision, then it's going to be a much difficult game. Now you just put the Conqueror on the front line. It gives you the run buff, so you can kind of survive through that initial burst. And once the Crippling Fear expires, then you can kind of reset and go back in. So they got 3 really tanky heroes from South Build. Do you feel like this could be an issue for Boom then, that they might lack a little bit of damage?
It could be a little bit. I feel like this is definitely a game for a Night Stalker to go into something like a Spirit Vessel, just because it is going to be effective against these high HP heroes. Solar Crest as well, obviously going to be real nice. And, well, it's going to be a weird game for South Build, right? Because I feel like I like their draft. You know, they've done a very good job this draft. But it's going to be odd in team fights because you're going to have these cores who a big part of their job is actually to protect these supports. Like they have very little in the form of save for the AA and the Lion. Their positioning themselves is going to need to be perfect. AA, you've got a little bit more luxury because you just need to get off an Ice Blast and the vast majority of your team fight effectiveness is done already. But Lion, he needs to be standing a lot closer to be able to get those Earth Spikes off. Samael, who's been performing pretty well so far, but it's going to be a bit of a risky prospect. So I'm going to be watching Enryu when he looks to use that Stampede, making sure that he's able to save his supports. And you're going to catch out anyone here. Bobby's moving closer, getting just in range to be able to drop down that Observer Ward. I don't think anyone's walked into it. Maybe Kezcute with his Snapfire just has. We've seen a couple of times now that people have just walked on in onto this high ground against like high kill potential lineups like a Tusker. They've got a decent amount of kill potential right now on South Build. Not anywhere near as strong as, you know, some of these other ones, but you can see, boom, the communication is there. They're all sticking together. And hell, even Hyde making the big wraparound.
That is a scary thought of running up a high ground into 4 stuns. I really don't think that's something you want to do. Like, no. They might be there. They might not. Hyde's like, can I snipe this? It will be a 2-for-2 trade nonetheless, but even start for either team. No D wards, no kills, just a 2-2 trade. I headed into it, and like we said, it's going to be the first place team versus the 8th place team. So, you know, Boom, odds-wise, probably looking a little bit strong, but you know, draft. Definitely feel like it's a draft where we could see South Build execute.
We could. And, I mean, the thing that they have to be worried about is that against this Boom lineup, so much minus armor. Meld, Nasal Goo, Little Shredder. He's got the Blightstone now, but eventually it's going to build into that Medallion and the Solar Crest. So, very easy Roshan potential for Boom. Very easy to take objectives as well after a sort of one-team fight. So, South Build, they're going to need to win a lot of these team fight engagements. I feel like they've got the tools to do it, as well as a lot of the tools to be able to do well in the laning phase. Just remember now, like, we're talking about these teams that I want to do well at the Animajor and the Wildcard. Didn't even mention Execration. We got to cheer for our Southeast Asian boys as well.
They're so happy to see the reaction when they made it as well. That's just really
they
does warm the heart.
That's how happy they were.
Such a incredible opportunity for those boys just to play on a scene like that. Like, it really does feel like the caliber of players there. Like, look at the wild card teams. Like, what's going on? Like, Dota right now feels like it's never been stronger with all the teams that are battling it out. I mean, we were saying, I was saying off screen, like, take a look at the teams in this tournament. Like, there are so many strong Southeast Asian teams as well, which is just gonna further make these playoffs, once we get to them, incredibly exciting.
Yeah, I mean, up until this point, it felt like any of the top 6 in the BTS Pro Series 6, fitting, could just take games off of each other. SMG not having the best day one, but since then they looked a lot stronger.
So far, pretty even through the lanes right now. Looks like all the cores are getting a decent amount out of it. Bob is taking, always seeing him fall pretty low here against the Templar Assassin. How do you feel like this matchup does fare? I know we're a couple minutes in, but
It's going to rely on a lot of individual skill coming through from Bob. That torrent landing is nice to be able to refill his bottle. The bottom side was already taken by himself anyway, so he's going to be able to keep somewhat healthy, and against a TA that's constantly being able to harass you with that refraction, of course, it's just always nice to have that little bit of extra HP in the water runes.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
do see that. I mean, I'm intrigued on how FBZ is going to be able to play this lane as well for the next 2 minutes, because the Night Stalker's weaknesses is that first 5 minutes until you're able to hit that nighttime, and then they can really ramp up the pressure. I feel like then Senki has to be super on point with his positioning. But at the moment, like, I've been a bit surprised. A lot of the Wraith King AA lanes that we've been seeing haven't been going as aggressively as what I thought they would. As top lane, Samael. It's falling low here. All this minus armor they got, Lil Shredder, Blightstone. Dreamercell hasn't got a point up in the goo, so he ain't got minus armor there, but it doesn't matter. It's enough for the cool stacking up, and Dreamercell already off to a great start for him.
Yeah, you got to remember the quills as well. They're physical damage, not a magical damage spell, so they're going to be amped up by all of that minus armor as well. Kind of similar to the Tusk tag team. Lots of good synergy coming through from Boom, and like we were expecting, FBZ, he's gone super early into the Urn of Shadows. He's got his boots coming out to him as well. And there's the potential for the kills coming through in the next minute or so, but hell, even just the regen on the mana regen, excuse me. Oh, Mikoto, Bob, bit of a skirmish happening mid.
Refraction's gonna get burnt out, so Mikoto will lose his life, and Bob, with the help of the supports, should be able to turn it on a second kill. Very nicely played here from South Built. Bob's gotta love that. Just having a decent time, definitely getting harassed a lot though from Mikoto's TA. So for the emphasis of the supports to come on over and help out his start, he's really gonna... He's like, thanks boys.
He's having a good one. Kezcute, he made sure to soak up the experience in that mid lane. There's a couple of stacks already in the Dire jungle. He's going to be in position to get another one off. And one ancient stack, I believe, now that the Nyx Assassin is just building up further and further. It's such an annoying camp to stack, like both of these. The leash range is so short on both of these Dire jungle camps. I hate it. I hate it so much as a support. You know, you want to do your best for your carry. You want to enable them to carry the game, but sometimes the creeps, they just have a mind of their own.
Yeah, they don't want to do what you want them to do. It's so annoying sometimes. They're just like, hello? Why is this pull not working? And you just, sometimes you do it on the pull count as well. You're like, what's actually going on? I swear it's not me. We see this though a lot from Boom. Like, they've been one of the teams to constantly prioritize the stacks for their position 2, 3, 1, whatever it need to be in that game. They're just always a team that puts a lot of emphasis on that.
Henry's getting gone on a little bit here. He's got the minus armor from the little shred of the Blightstone and just a couple of right clicks with that freshly picked up Warpath. I think he had 3, maybe 4 stacks of the quills on him as well. So you cannot leave him alone. Even something like a tanky Centaur before he's got that that completed Vanguard at least.
Admiral is on board.
And the thing with these stacks as well, right, is that it can often seem a little obvious, when a team's going to take them, but the fact that you've got both the TA and the Bristle that can opt to take these stacks means that, sure, it might seem obvious that one of them's doing it, but you often get like that extra 5 seconds or so before you're able to react, and with something like a TA or a Bristle, that's often all the time that they need to quickly take them down. Lots of flash farming right now on Boom on their position 1 and 2.
Bot lane, FBZ. He's getting surrounded. Doesn't want to pop the ultimate just yet, but with all that movement speed, he's able to make it back towards the tier 1 tower. Bob still following up with the control. Cookie, extra space. Fairy Fire going to be popped as well with the one. FBZ, they're stampeding on forward. It's a heavy commitment from Southpool, and this is still without the Dark Ascension used, but where are the rotations? They can look to punish here if they want to. The TP in, Makoto's going to look to join them here. FBZ still going to be so careful with how he plays this extra skirmish. An incredible movement from him. Great use of the snap fight too. And they're even going to run into Bob, who's got no hope of a TP out. So Bob, well, now it's his turn to be surrounded. They'll dodge the taunt. They'll come back in and clean him up. And all the meanwhile, we saw that the Bristleback was taking a couple sacks away. We're not even done. Lion's going to get chased down. What a use of the rotations. Just on point from Boom.
Yeah, baiting them all the way in, super deep. He had the healing salve as well in the backpack, so he was able to quickly turn around, be part of that. He got the AA kill, credit, build up the first 2 charges into that Urn of Shadows and just followed it up with a couple more. So when you were on about 50 HP, retreating back to base, and you finish the team fight with full HP, you're always going to be pretty happy with that.
And he's still got urns to use as well.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
This is... we also saw, like I was going to try and bring up, the Bristleback took, I think, a triple stack at the hard and a double at the Radiant Triangle camp.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they moved on through, just snagged that. That was all while the Night Stalker was getting dived. So a lot getting taken away, and that's really why the Bristle is top of the net worth. I mean, I know Dreamcell's having a great time. 2 kills, 69 last hits, but he is... And this is all... They've now funneled the Templar Assassin to taking the stacks of the Ancients. He's just gone.
He's got the Stampede in a couple of seconds, but... Oh, they used the stun.
He's going to use it now.
Should be okay. Get away just in time. They actually get the kill on Makoto, so nicely done. On Southport, they realized, well, we've dropped this deep Observer Ward, so we knew it was taking the stacks, and they're going to converge in onto mid. See if they could make anything happen there. Kezcute, he's in a decent position to be able to try and block any kind of aggression. Very close to his Mortimer's Kisses as well.
We are going to start to see these level 6s come through from the supports, and honestly, either team's supports have very impactful level 6s. You know, the Mortimer Kisses, just for that. And maybe a solo pick-off. Burst potential, the Lion Finger of Death, and you take a look at the AA Ice Blast as well, just more burst, die with the Nyx Assassin Vendetta. All these 6s from the supports are going to give them a lot of room to make plays.
And you even think about just like pre-BKB, they got a ton of slows on Boom. They've got the Trap, they've got the Goo, they've got the Void as well. So, I mean, Kezcute, he's going to have the luxury of just sitting back using those Mortimer's Kisses without too much of a care in the world. It's not like you're up against something like, I don't know, a Storm Spirit or an Nyx Assassin that's quickly able to cancel out your channeling with, you know, a Zip-In Electric Vortex, something like a Spike Carapace or anything like that. There's nothing that's going to stop him.
Bot lane. FBC. He's got Makoto on the backup. They will still get the combination from Bob. Ice Blast's going to fly through as well. There's the 6s coming into play.
Good combo.
As they'll combo down the Night Stalker. They're going to try and push for more. Stampede use aggressively here. We saw what happened last time and then went a little bit too deep, Cookie. Bit of miscommunication. Makoto not going to get the stun, but it looks like it doesn't matter. First life of the reincarnation going to get used from Mob. They'll still try to bring it down Kezcute. Bob's going to try and TP up, and now with all the minus armor that Boom have, we'll find a big kill on Mob, who was flawless so far through 10 minutes of this game.
We'll call it flawless, but again, it's just these little things that differentiate between the true, you know, higher tier C teams, and, you know, Mob, he's, I don't want to say a newer player, but he hasn't played on quite as many of the high tier stacks. All that fight, he had the Blades of Attack in his backpack, and he was holding onto a Quelling Blade, and that is not going to help you in any kind of team fight. Maybe that 9 damage with the crit that you get from the Mortal Strike might have been the difference of being able to take down the target just that tiny bit sooner, but well, it's not the case. Reincarnate's now on cooldown, so you need to play a lot more defensively.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Feels like we're really going to get a big mid-timing fight, though. The A bit, oh, it's gone down bot. Set up on the bristle. Ice Blast is really what they need to bring down Dream Missile, and they drop everything. Finger of Death, boat, Ice Blast, the whole kitchen getting used there to get rid of the bristle back, which will give them 372 gold to Centaur.
Feeling very nice for this Centaur. I mean, he is your initiation. Has he got, was it a hood coming out to him, or?
Trying to see, yeah.
Something better. Blink Dagger. 12-minute Blink Dagger Vanguard. Not too bad for Enryu.
Radiant do have a lot of stuns to play with, and it always feels like when you got stuns on your lineup, it can just make Dota so much easier to play. So we'll see how this can really come into effect of, you know, controlling, getting setups, these pickoffs as well. All in all, though, it's been a solid start from South Build. You know, they're pretty much even right now in the net worth, and this is what you want to see from a team that's, you know, unfortunately on the bottom of the table right now. Just to get out of the lanes and get even, then they can really use, you know, that momentum to head into a strong early game here.
It looks like they're looking to make a bit of a play around mid or perhaps bottom. You can see FPZ, he's finished up. Oh, he gets jumped in underneath his tower. That's quite keen.
I was going to turn. Tone actually completely waste the Dark Ascension along with the Stampede disengage here. So a couple of ultimates once again forced out.
Can still make a play though, right? They don't have the Stampede now, so if you're able to get in onto the back line, that's going to be real nice. Spirit Vessel picked up for FBZ, uses one of the charges to make himself a little bit more fit. Just under half duration of that Dark Ascension.
Oh, Bob.
You've still got that one charge to go for this extra kill.
My lord, that's so much damage. Makoto 3 points meld when they use that Spirit Vessel as well, and they're still hunting. Hyde, he's stalking the prey right now. Gets a beautiful connection, the two-man Impale, and Mob's Reincarnation's actually still on cooldown. He needs help. They're not going to go too far. They do scout out that Ancient stack, so they're like, okay, you know, not going to get the kill. Let's just still take the farm through Wraith King.
And it just shows the effect. All you need is one guaranteed kill coming through. And that's where Boom's lineup is really good. Made sure that they refreshed all those stacks on the Spirit Vessel. FBZ, he was in position to make sure he got the charge in onto the Centaur with that freshly picked up early Blink Dagger on Enryu. He just cannot join the fight with that instant counter initiate, having used the Stampede just to, you know, try and get a bit of a spook going on onto Boom. But at the end of the day, it wasn't enough. And you can see how important it was, right? That AA gets away. Bob probably as well gets away if you still have the Stampede save.
Dire have just done such an incredible job as well at limiting the farm that Radiant can really get on the map. They took another stack away around the Ancients. They also then just blocked the Hard and the Ancient camp before they left. So we're just seeing what they're doing. It's just these little things to really slow down the farm, and that can be really important for someone like a Wraith King who looks like he's actually going for a bit of a different build this game. Not the item Radiance to follow up after the Armlet. He's actually going to go for the Assault Cuirass.
Nice game sense from FBZ as well. He stands all the way back under his tier 2 tower despite having no vision where South Build were looking to move around, and by doing that he's bought himself that extra 20 seconds that he needs for it to be nighttime. Doesn't need the Dark Ascension. Still got it if they need to. Just for a little bit of extra speed.
Busy should be able to get in range. Cancels out the TP here. Cookie follow-up as well means that Hyde, he can also get a secondary kill. So Boom once again bringing the numbers. They're the ones that feel really strong to take fights at the moment, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they think about Roshan. This is a lineup that has a lot of minus armor. Desolator completed here for Makoto, so they should be able to rip this apart.
Even the meld with the Arcane Rune, it's going to be happening every 3.5 seconds, so this Roshan, he's going to melt with the meld, and again, that Stampede, it just felt like it was a little bit premature. You know, they used it as soon as the TPs were coming into the outpost, but that's a 6-second TP duration that's needed to do that. You could have very easily just run away.
Yeah, when... It's the big issue right now, like with Stampede, if you can't really... Dire are always going to hunt. Like, the way they're able to keep up in fights, they're just going to be running at you non-stop. That's what the Dire lineup is going to look to do now. So now it's on, can you use your abilities to full effectiveness? And like you said, like if that Stampede's going to get wasted, then yeah, Boomer, a team that will be able to punish with ease.
Yeah. And look what we got now. You know, you've got the Bristleback, 3 points in the Nasal Goo, Desolator's finished up, Medallion as well, very close to the Solar Crest even for Hyde.
Radiant
So
structures are fortified.
I'm worried. I'm worried for South Built right now. It just doesn't feel like they've got
Radiant's
the
top tower is under attack.
team fight control, the maneuverability
Radiant's
to be able to
top
counter
tower
any
has
of this.
fallen. Dire's structures are
That is
fortified.
going to be Solar now coming through on the career. It'll be a little while until it's delivered, but I don't think Boom are caring all that much. Look at how quickly these towers go down. Forces an early glyph, and there's no tier 1 towers remaining in order to refresh that. So it's going to be a good 5 minutes
Lively
until
now.
they're able to make something
Is
happen
on board.
again.
Mid lane, jump in. Night Stalker.
Radiant's top
They do have a lot of bursts coming out when they drop the combo. But Dire looking to pursue it on forward. Makoto trying to claim the kill on Zenki. Haste. And he's got a little fast frog running around here. Makoto still stunned up, getting controlled. And Ryu. Nice double hoof stomp, finger of death. They'll deal with the first life. Dire. They don't have Dreamer Cell just yet. They're a little bit worried about the Bristleback's positioning. About seeing Kim on the map. They will not be able to get the Templar Assassin a second time, but you're happy. Night Stalker getting brought down. The Templar Assassin Aegis getting claimed as well. And meanwhile, your Wraith King is still farming.
Yeah, nice deep play coming through there. They needed to use a lot for it, though. They used the boat, they used the finger, they used the AA blast, they used the stampede.
Radiant's middle tower
And
is
Ryu?
Well, I don't think you've got anything left, Ryu.
I don't think the Lions got anything left as well. It just... I mean, Dire the Vision. This is something I brought up in the draft. The TA, Night Stalker, Nyx Assassin wasn't even them that really helped them out. It was just the good old-fashioned way of the Observer Wards. He wouldn't send a Shadow Blade on Wraith King.
I mean, I guess they feel like they need the Silver Edge for the
Radiant's middle
Bristleback,
tower
considering
is
they
under
didn't
attack.
address it specifically with any heroes other than the AA that are going to be able to counter it, but I don't know. Maybe you could just go into a Lotus Orb and very easily feel alright about things. The BKB being picked up next by Dreamer Cell is probably going to get it around the similar timing as Marb's going to have his Silver Edge, probably even sooner, to be honest.
Oh, Zenki frontlining. They're going to jump on Dreamer Cell, but off to the eastern side. They're dealing with all the supports right now. Bob just completely zoned them out. So it means that Dire won't be able to protect Dreamer Cell. They're one man down, and Hyde's going to get crit through as well. Marb will find a second. We'll trade it out for the Ancient Apparition. Blink on forward, and Ryu just doesn't have a way to keep up there. So, very nicely done though from Bob. He held back the rest of Boom. They're unable to protect Dreamer Cell's Bristleback, and Marb's actually still looking to push on forward for a couple more kills here. They're sensing a sign of weakness, and they're going to pounce on that.
They got us.
So the use of the Shadow Blade, you know, it's turns out it isn't such a trash item after all, but
Dire's
the
middle tower
not
has
even having to
fallen.
use the boat, but that fresh Heaven Halberd pickup just from the evasion as well as the active, of course, being able to allow Kunkka to just TP away. Bob did a good job to keep his composure,
Your admiral is
get out
on
of the
board.
team fight, hold away 3 Boom heroes without even giving up his own safety.
Radiant's
Question
bottom
of
tower is
what
under
now,
attack.
though? You've still got about 1,000 gold away from this Silver Edge. You were able to kill Dreamer Cell without it, so being a little bit out of position with your back facing the wrong way. The AA Blast, of course, doing a body of work to be able to help him out there. Don't even think the Finger of Death was used previously, so I wonder if they're going to be able to stall this out long enough for Samael to at least get that level 12. Means you could fight a lot more frequently. He's already got the 4-star finished
Bob.
up, which is going to be a big help.
He's going to get caught mid.
Lively now. Your admiral is on
No,
board.
wait, is he actually going to get away? Might have to drop the boat. He's got some one halberd as well. Turns back around. They've got the run buff. Stampede actually committed here. They need a reset as a team, but he's disconnected. He'll attempt to TP out. Makoto's blinks on cooldown. And the Mortimer Kiss is a little bit too late as well, but at least it should be able to scout out the supports that are retreating. Hyde. It's back. Carapace, Vacato with the Mellowed Burst. They'll find 2 supports at the least.
Yeah, just a couple of small mistakes coming through from Boom using the Void instantly on FBZ, which means that a couple of times now, Bob's just been free to TP on out.
Radiant's
It's been
middle
instant
tower is
on
under
his
attack.
reactions there to be able to do that, but he's gone in pretty deep here. I mean, you got 2 lives and you got that Shadow Blade, but they've got Dust, and that's all they're going to need to be able to take you down. Not once, but twice. No, doesn't even need the twice. It doesn't have the mana, the Reincarnate to go on cooldown.
saw Enryu too. For a second, I
Radiant's
was
bottom tower is under
worried that he was
attack.
actually going to get jumped, but yeah, just I don't know, simply caught out of position for the Wraith King. Not sure why he was up there with 2 supports dead. Bob's even going to get caught out mid as well. They got the Spirit Vessel.
Dire's
But
top
seeing how
tower
much damage
is
you're
under
able to do
attack.
might be the saving grace for Bob, the fact that it actually goes to daytime, but he's going to run through a little nook where the traps are already set up, so they'll sprung the bait. Imo battling and currying down bot 2. Dream Assault pushing back Enryu and Samael. Blink on 4, but it's mainly just trying to protect the Lion. Unfortunately, when you move in 105 movement speed, it is very difficult to disengage, and it also gives time for the rest of the Boom to swing on over.
It just feels like an overwhelming tsunami coming down at them. You know, 4 heroes, lots of minus armor, lots of kill potential, and very hard to actually take them down a couple of times. And you can commit heavily onto someone, you can get a little bit of a team fight win, but Boom, they always feel like they're getting something out of the map. Standing in very aggressively here, and will be able to take out FBZ with this.
Get the Night Stalker. Mob will still lose. Oh, nice armor toggle. Runs back in. Reincarnation slow with the respawns coming out means that Bob is going to be able to drop the combo, but they don't have Silver's Edge and they don't have AA Blast as well to back this up.
Okay, they can kite that out. That's all right. Don't have to be all that worried, and now they know that they've at least burned 1 charge of the BKB. Cost them FBZ as well, and they get to keep their tier 3 tower. So
I love
they're
this
not looking
smoke.
horrible for South Mid.
Radiant
Step
are
lively
scanning.
now.
Love this smoke. You know BKB's on cooldown. Ice Blast isn't long. You
They're scanned
Silver's
as
Edge
well.
as
They know where they are.
Great recognition from Boom. Blink on Enryu. Try to predict. But Dire, they've
Zenki, what are you
You
doing?
need this Ice Blast. Now you've got to dip. Stampede's up. Is there any catch coming through from Dire? Again, disconnected is Bob, but it will not be able to gap close.
I mean, that is just an AA well out of position. There is no reason for you to be up there. You know the smoke popped. You know that the hoof stomp didn't connect in onto anyone. So where else could they possibly be other than that high ground?
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Radiant's middle tower.
We do
has fallen.
have... It's going to be second roche up in about 5 seconds here. So, Boom in quite a powerful position where they're going to be the ones to get set up. And they already scout out that the roach is up here. So, I mean, Radiant, they're all the way on the bottom side and they're already not moving. With how much minus armor they have, you see already Roche is negative 14 armor at one stage there. That is not a Roshan that's going to last for too long. Bristleback has now got the Ag Shard too, so the Hairball is going to come into play.
Yep, quickly able to push out these creep waves as well as, of course, the great effectiveness in the middle of these team fights. I mean, still, the Mortimer's Kisses, it's only level 1, but it's still having quite a large level of impact in these team fights, even just for the additional slow that you're able to layer in on top of everything else. And I don't believe we've got any BKBs yet. Yeah,
Spike
Bob especially.
Carapace. Again, you're seeing just this cleave get caught by the Nyx Assassin. It's just... I mean, he's got buyback at least. But it's going to be hard high ground defense. Dream Assault has gone way too far away. BKB, but he's going to pop. That is a bit of a mistake. You've seen they itemize with the Silver's Edge and you drafted with the Ancient Apparition to provide a counter to that Bristleback. So he's got to respect it just a little bit more.
You see how effective it is when you actually have the AA there alive, able to use the Ice Blast. And, well, Mob, they're going immediately for some kind of play. Able to take out a couple of these side traps. Should just be fine, though. He's got his fresh BKB picked up as well. Still holding on to a lot of gold. I wonder if he's going to go into an Aghanim Scepter build. Not going to go the MKB. I don't mind it. I really like the Ag Scepter, though. Just the amount of mobility that you have is amazing. Very quick escape potential as well. I believe it's only a 1 second cast time to be able to move between traps.
I'm going to... Look at that attack range. The Sideblade talent, the Dragon Lance. My lord.
Gonna be able to hit into Enryu, yeah. very easy to pick off this Centaur. I mean, this is what I was talking about when they picked the Centaur into the Nyx Assassin. I was like, but why? It's a very easy setup. And they've even got the nighttime for the next 3 minutes now, so FBZ is going to continue roaming around these more aggressive areas of the map, very close to his own BKB as well. I feel like that's the next cab off the rank for a lot of these heroes.
Mid lane. We're going to try and Dreamer Soul. They have the combo this time. So Dreamer Soul get out with the BKB. They're going to look to punish now. The overcommitment from Radiant. They haven't brought down any cores just yet. Great use of the 4-star. Kezcute gets a little bit better positioning here now with the BKB is completely wasted. Dreamer Soul is able to go back in, and the backline gets ripped apart from Mikoto. Bob will try to TP out. They don't have the stuns, but it means they'll just turn their attention to Mob. A Stampede even used to try and help the Wraith King get just a support kill, but he can't even get that. Burnt out of his mana once again, unable to play with the reincarnation. They'll lose 3. Their attempt to go for the pickoff on Dreamer Soul not going to work this time.
Other than the very start of that fight, were you looking at Dreamer Cell? Because he was down to 400 HP, and like 5 seconds later, once the Ice Blast had worn off, he was like back to full.
Yeah, I don't know how he got back full. Spirit Vessel.
I mean, Spirit Vessel, his Essence Ring, and his Spell Lifesteal in a team fight from the Eternal Shroud, but obviously feeling very confident if he's going to be in a position to try and do that.
Let's see if they can try and burst through the TA's first life. Cold Feet proc, 4-staff once again. Such a strong 4-staff game. Against the Radiant lineup that are really reliant on locking you down in one place with all the chain lockdown. But you don't want to close the distance. Like if you can 4-staff out of the AA blast, Samael is going to be really careful with his positioning. Finger of Death. Well, they get rid of the refraction so they can rip through the first life there. Now, can they do it a second time? Ice Blast charged up, but there's the 4-staff coming into play.
Lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Feels to me like Boom could just continue playing this sort of game though, right? Like they've already taken the tier 3 tower, they've already taken one set of melee racks. They can just use that Mortimer's Kisses because again, there's no instant backline engagement coming through from Southfield. So you can just use the Snapfire ultimate as a bit of a zoning tool, allow the rest of your cores to just sit down and chunk down these objectives. And well, we've already talked many a time about the minus armor, which means that they don't need that much time at all.
Oh, BKB, FBZ, great silence as well. Prevents the initial stun, and it's going to give the time now for Boom to be able to wrap straight on top of the support tier. Samael chase down, Spirit Vessel should be able to tick him out, but the real target's going to be Marb and Bob. They're disconnected away from the supports, and you really need the help right now from Southfield. Bob's going to try and turn, BKB pop along with the Halberd. He's going to will get away with the TP, but it's Marb that has no assistance. And Ryu blinking on 4 with hoof stomps off the mark. They deal with the reincarnation, and they'll easily kill him off a second time as well. A really messy fight where we saw just like 3 individual fights taking place. But that's something that is able to really go in the favor of Boom, because Southfield, they need to be connected as one to find a burst and then go into the next target from there.
Yeah, they were very split up, and even Mikoto, he didn't go for the continuous chase onto the Centaur, realizing that, look, I've taken him down to 10% HP. Either he's going to stick around and just be food if he does decide to eventually reinitiate, but we've got a good 10 seconds or so until he's going to be able to do that, or he's going to TP back to base, and we know we've got him out of the fight anyway. So I don't mind that, you know, not chase if it kills, realizing that the team fight victory is the thing that's important. I'm loving to see that from Mikoto.
Blessings. Radiant are scanning.
Game might be over before they get to that point, but Hyde, he's closing in on his Aghanim Scepter as well, only about 1,000 or so gold away, and we've seen many a time how all of that minus damage coming through from the burrowed Nyx Assassin, 50%, is going to be effective. We're already having such a rough time getting through this Bristleback. Now that the BKBs as well are online, FBZ, he just jumped into 4 previously with the use of that Dark Ascension for the Flying Vision.
Yeah, you see how the silence is really disrupting them here from FBZ. And it doesn't even have to be like a silence onto many. Just run at the supports. Like, you really need to chain lock someone down from Southfield to get a pick off. And if you don't do that, then you're just running like a headless chook. Blinking forward, breaking. He's actually stunned up. The initiation that was supposed to work out from Radiant is not going to. They'll jump on forward. They bring through Hyde. He's going to buy back if he wants to look to rejoin, and he will. But once again, Dire, a great prioritization for them, dealing with the supports, and now they can turn to Mar Blast. 4 down from South built. Bob the sole survivor, but unfortunately Bob is not going to be able to survive for too much longer. BKB TP up. Makoto is not level 25 just yet for the Meld Hit Bash, so actually Bob will get back to safety, but nonetheless, it is going to be a 4-for-1.
4-for-1, lane's pushed all the way in. You can just walk in onto this top lane, and this should be mega creeps. I mean, it was a much better showing, I thought, from Southbuilt this time around, but just the strength of Boob's draft, way too much for SBE to deal with. I don't think they got enough out of the laning stage, but in terms of their teamwork, it hasn't been as glaringly lacking as we've seen in their previous series.
Yeah, it has not indeed. There were definitely shining points for them here in this game 1, but I think just with how Boom were able to really connect through that mid game, it was too much for them to handle. Like, you take a look at the synergy they have with their draft, the vision advantage, all the minus armor, and just recognizing, like, it always feels like these high level teams know the importance of who they have to kill. They have like a list. You know, you go from the top to the bottom, and at the top of that list so often was the supports, and it always felt like Lion, Zenki, their positioning in this game was just so difficult to be able to play against what Boom were able to dish out.
Yeah, especially Zenki, right? Like, you're an AA, you're against a Bristleback, you're against some targets that you need to get constant ticking damage onto, like Makoto for the refraction charges, of course, but it's just going to be so hard. And it felt like a couple of times, honestly, his first few teamfight deaths, it was because that Centaur ultimate was used a little bit prematurely. He had no escape potential. He had to go into the Solar Crest for the extra damage, so you didn't have any kind of save for yourself in the form of a Ghost Scepter or a Glimmer Cape, but they were always carrying dust on Boom anyway, so it just felt like an uphill battle for the supports. And yeah, you mentioned going down the priority of the kill list. You might see the big beefy Wraith King and think, oh, we got to get him out of the fight, but you have to think of the ease of taking someone out as well. And this game, it was very easy for Zenki and Samael to fall down, and unfortunately, the cores weren't much help. Their positioning, their spell usage just meant that the supports were sitting ducks.
Yeah, they were just sitting ducks, unfortunately, and well, Boom able to break those ducks down and take game 1 here to kick off the night. We'll send it to a quick break where we're going to come back and see more Boom Esports versus Southbuilt Esports.